let me know if there's any background noise.
Hello, everyone. Thank you again for tuning in to our live at 5, where XP, myself, Ben Richards, and myself, Jack Jiggins, we tune in weekly to give you the highs and lows of property development, running service-based businesses. Ben and I collectively run 5 companies, and the whole purpose of this live at 5 is to give you guys insights into what we've been up to in the week, highs and lows, and to hopefully do some Q&A so we can give some value back. So we're going to go through the agenda for today. If you could ask questions as we go through, that would be amazing. So to start off with the agenda, Ealing Property Meet. I had the pleasure of presenting there yesterday evening. Rates, they are going up. Everyone should be probably hearing about this in the news, but we will be sharing live examples of the projects that we're facing, changes in what we're doing, and what it actually means for us. Within our companies, we do half-yearly reviews with all of our staff. We're going to share the format of how we do that, so hopefully you can get the best out of your team, which coincidentally gets the best out of your business. I was fortunate enough to have a lovely sunny day with investors at the races, Ascot races. I'll be sharing my tips on horse racing, beating inflation. Ben and the team did a charity run. We'll be sharing on that. We visited 2 strategic land developments in Sussex, what you need to do to get into land deals, and we'll be sharing more on that. Getting financial clarity on your business, what we do in our businesses to get management accounts, end of year accounts, bookkeeping, all up to scratch. Ben joined the Developer Club 2.0, why he joined it, what it's about, and I am fortunate to be part of the board in 1.0, recruiting good architects or generally recruiting good people. Airspace development, which is a deal that we've been working on for some time now, and it was recently submitted, so we'll be sharing more details on that. Anything to add, Ben?
No, all good. No, looking forward to this one.
Oh, I'm quite jealous of you. Looks like you're in a pub garden. So kicking off with Ealing Property Meets, and you can sort of see it was a massive room here. This was when Manny Chopra was doing her 30-second shout out. It's actually the first time, and definitely not the last time, that I'm going to Ealing Property Meet. Ben actually did a talk there a few months ago, and I was talking about how I went from a trading eBay prolific entrepreneurial kid to now doing property development deals and property deals using the exact same techniques. So if anyone's out there and they want to hear about trading and arbitraging value, so taking something from a marketplace, selling it in a different area and merely doing that, we talked all through. There were some really good questions as well, so it's a thoroughly enjoyable evening. It was very, very detailed. I think my presentation was about 2.5 hours long with all the Q&A integrated. So it was a really, really good event. Ben, do you want to share your experience of Ealing?
Yeah, 2.5 hours. That's great. Yeah, mine was amazing. We did a deep dive into one of our mixed-use schemes. This was back in March, to be honest. It was a long time ago, but really, really good crowd. If you're looking for property networking events in London, Ealing Property Meet is one of the best. It's a really, really experienced crowd doing some awesome stuff. It's headed up by Richard Woodstock. And yeah, the caliber of people in the room is fantastic. So get yourself along.
Lovely job. Good. Exit bridges. Ben, I'll let you start on this one.
Yeah, cool. So I think we spoke about it last week. We are currently finishing this scheme of 6 units near High Wycombe in a place called Princess Risborough, and we're moving on to an exit bridge. There's a whole episode and chat about that in some of our previous weeks, so go and check that out. But I had a phone call this afternoon from our broker, essentially saying, as of yesterday, Lend Invest, who I'm sure some of you have development finance facilities with, they have did an emergency meeting yesterday due to the Bank of England base rate increases. They are upping all of the rates on their products. So we thought we had locked in a pretty solid 0.74 a month for our exit bridge, but our broker broke the bad news to us today, saying that if we can't complete by the end of next week, that will be increasing to 0.94% a month. So not ideal if you are sitting on all of your finished product and you don't have any out of the door. we're very lucky that we've got 3 of the 6 already in legals. So actually, this shouldn't affect us a huge amount. Yes, it adds a couple of grand onto our finance costs, but we will be seeing these types of rate hikes very occurring very regularly now, with the way that the Bank of England base rate has gone up, amongst other inflationary measures. So yeah, keep an eye out. Looks like things are going up sort of 1.5% for a lot of development finance lenders. Anything less than that, it sounds as though they will be losing money. So try and lock in as much as you can ASAP.
Yeah, we've just finished one of our boardroom sessions in XP, and the sentiment is, even if you don't end up going with that lending or that type of product, get it locked in now, because we don't think it's going to get any better for the next 6, maybe 12 months. And anyone that's refinancing anything in that meantime might be able to lock in a better rate. I've actually, on the next slide, done a case study on a HMO which we bought and refinanced last year in 2022. It's a 6-bedroom, 5-bathroom HMO. So we're now talking about HMO buy-to-let sort of end products. So what you would fix in for 2 to 5 years or go into a variable rate. And the reason I'm sharing this is hopefully you can see the numbers there. So in 2022, we locked in a 5-year fixed at 3.2%. So the gross income on this property was £60,000 per year. You can see on the left-hand middle table, the green box right in the middle, that with the 3.2% interest rate, that's going to cost us £19,900 per year, which means our net income per month is £2,392, and our net income per year is £28,000. The comparable on the right is if we refinance this HMO now. So that's at 6.3% for a very similar product. If I'm really honest, you might even struggle to get rates that low if you're a new HMO landlord, or equally you're going into a market in the next few months. But you can see there that it's chipped the monthly P&L down to £850 because of that rise. So it really is time to start thinking about, does your strategy work? Is it robust? On our new acquisitions, we have a stress test model which stresses increase in interest rates and what that looks like on a profit margin. So if anyone wants any help putting a stress test feature into their Excel or see what we do, please do reach out, because it is time to start rethinking some of these HMOs. We're now going to be doing more flips this is in central suites. We still will be doing HMOs, but they've got to be extremely strong and sort of combat that potential rise further, as well as work today.
Jack, I guess the other thing is that you're either leaving in more money or you need more equity to start with, right? Or you're doing smaller deals with the same amount that you would have had going into it.
Yeah, well, with HMOs, it's the development finance hasn't changed a huge mark. Where it's changed is when you refi at the end, when you get your new GDV and your new 75% LTV mortgage and the rent roll income. So it's just, they still don't change that much from the buy, refurb and refi. It's just the cost of the mortgage on refi, which is why flips are probably a little bit more attractive specifically for us at the moment. The equity point shouldn't be too dissimilar. Obviously, if you have more equity, you can gear it lower at the back end, but the fundamentals are the mortgage at the back end, even if you're 60% loan to value, is costly, really costly. It's double the cost of what it was before. The development and purchase or bridging finance is not double the cost. It's not 20%. We used to pay in and out with a HMO acquisition funder about 8 to 12%. It's not 20%, but the refi is where it really hits our models.
Cool, good stuff. Okay, so yeah, this we decided last year to do half-yearly reviews for everyone, no matter when they kind of joined the business, because it was getting a bit too difficult to manage, about around 20 people sporadically throughout the year to give them reviews on certain points within their sort of contract. So yeah, this month, June, is very much a review month. We've got, in excess of 15 reviews to get through between Aura, CSL, XP Property, XP Surveys, and it's can be quite a stressful time to factor that all in. For Jack and I, certainly a whole day out of the business doing reviews back to back is there's a lot of time. The way we like to operate these is looking at kind of the output of people. What are they targeted on? How are they performing against those outputs? Looking at their input in terms of their willingness to work, their speed and accuracy, the quality of their work. Ask them what their strengths and weaknesses are. Talk about potential needs for management input and what they feel they could benefit from in terms of training. And generally you want to always end these reviews with a set of KPIs. So in 6 months' time, these are the 5 or 6 headline things that we want you to be achieving that we can measure you on in those 6 months, in that 6 months' time. So we're constantly learning this. I'd love to hear from anyone that does kind of reviews regularly, kind of what key things they do for their team to help, improve things, to get better feedback, because it's a new process that we're going through.
Very good. I would like to point out, talking about that, I love the input-output analysis. If you're taking on any team members, they're in full control of their input. They're not always in full control of their output, because sometimes that takes time and experience. But it's reviewing both segments and ensuring that their output is improving as efficiently and effectively, and you're giving them the tools to learn. But if their input is there and you review it multiple times, you have to ask your question, is this the right person for the role? Because your effort should always be 100%, but your sort of technical skills and technical abilities does take time to develop. So we don't always expect people to hit the ground running on the output side of things, but everyone should in input.
Yeah, one thing else to touch on. So I've got this from my wife, because they've just done it in their business. In Aura, we've tasked everyone with doing their own review, basically a self-review. So like a week before their actual review, where they come in and talk face-to-face for an hour with the management staff, they do their own review. This gives you a really good idea of where they are compared to where you think they are. And then you can easily bridge the gap. If they think they're performing really well and you really don't think they are, you need to understand what you need to target them for and how they can improve, or where that difference lies, in order to kind of close the gap and make those thoughts more aligned. So yeah, giving a self-review option for the team, I think, is actually a really, really good way of managing their expectations and managing your expectations as well.
Very good, very good. Who's this dapper chap, I hear you ask? That's me being outrageous. So I don't really know what we were going to plan to talk about this, but I had the privilege to attend Ascot. It's now become a yearly affair with the chaps that I went with, which was one other developer, Romy Chopra, and one investor that works with us already and one potential investor.
I think the main driver for talking about this is investor relations. This was an investor meeting for Jack. I did get an invite, I couldn't make it, but it's building relationships, like deeper relationships with your partner, with your investment partners, with your suppliers, with your contractors, is just only going to benefit you in the long run. So this may seem like a piss up a day out, but actually the bond that you build with your extended network on these types of events is invaluable, and something that is often overlooked.
Completely agree. My big horsing racing tip is don't act like you know anything and just try and enjoy yourself, because I came away with nothing that day, which is annoying, because the previous races I went to Newbury, which was actually with a residential estate agent, I came back significantly up in comparison to what I gambled.
There you go. You win some, you lose some.
Yeah, good. Very good. Run, Forest, Run.
Oh, if we skipped a few? Or have I just not renamed that one? I'll probably not just read it. That's fine. Cool. Yeah. All good. So last Saturday, there were 7 of us from Aura, XP Surveys and XP Property and Central Suites. And we did an inflatable 5K run. It was actually really, really good fun. Very knackering. You think, running a 5K, realistically, it's a breeze. Like 5K is not a long distance. But when you throw in 35 inflatable obstacles, where each one completely takes it out of you, we've got friction burns all over our elbows and knees. But it was great. We all went round together. I would highly recommend anyone getting involved in these types of things for team building. It was a really good laugh. And we have raised at the moment about 700 quid for Blood Cancer UK. We're looking to keep that open until next Friday. And then we will close it, and I will double whatever total is in there from Aura, because that's one of our key charity partners. So really pushing for more donations. We'll put the Just Giving link below, or go onto our Instagram and find some of our previous posts. But if you've got any spare change kicking around inside the back of the sofa, we would take anything you can possibly give. It's for a great cause. And again, would highly recommend the inflatable 5K. You could do an inflatable 10K if you really want to. You just go around a few more times, but really good fun.
Good. Land development, strategic land.
Yes, we visited 2 large sites, and we were actually asked in our boardroom session today, like, why do we do this? Why are we on social media? Why do we kind of try to raise our profile that way using like digital platforms? I think in this day and age, you need to, and you build connections like this. This is from someone who has been watching what we've been up to, has got kind of connections in contact, wants to work with us, and can bring opportunities like this to the party. These are 2 great land developments. They're currently owned in a trust, and they've got great potential. They need to be pulled into the SHELAA, and for anyone that doesn't know what that is, I've written it there, but it's a high-level assessment used as a starting point to decide whether sites could be developed for housing, business, or other uses in the local plan or neighbourhood plan. So basically, the local council on the fringes of villages, towns, will be looking for more land that they can kind of pull into that settlement boundary as designated sites for housing. These 2 are in particularly good areas on the fringe of the local villages, and there's every chance that these can get pulled into the SHELAA if sort of approached in the right way with the local council. So our partners approached the local council with these pieces of land, submitted various drawings and assessments to say this is why it's suitable to be brought in, and this is why it would make a great location for a housing development, and we are hopefully going to be working with them to kind of see it through and deliver it. It's definitely the long game. These types of things, this might be a 5 to 10 year kind of program to start identifying those sites and pulling them into the local plan, but they are really great money spinners if you are playing the long game. This is what a lot of big land buyers and big housing developers do. They find opportunities like this on the fringes of towns and villages, make sure that we work closely with the planning authority to pull it into the SHELAA, and yeah, away you go. I learned a lot on Monday. I've never really done a lot of sort of forestry work or land development sites where there's a lot of clearance of trees required. This is a site where it's already having forestry work undertaken, and that was part of the planned works for this woodlands. They're going to be driving sort of a pathway through these trees where they're taking sort of 2 rows of trees out, and then what I didn't know is that every 30-40 years they will trim 1 in 5 of the rows to allow the other trees more growth potential, more light, more chance to kind of expand, and sort of trim out the sort of density of those trees. So something I've learned this week, which has been great. I'm really excited to see how this one pans out. Still lots to do, but 2 really exciting sites that could develop 30 to 40 housing units, maybe even more depending on how things go.
Do you know what SHELAA actually stands for?
Land assessment. No, is the short answer. You're going to tell me? I hope you are.
I've got one. It's a joke one, but I'm going to go for it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Something helpless, exceptionally long, annoying abbreviation.
Nice. Do you know what it really is?
No.
Okay, we'll find out and get back
stick to that one, I think.
Yeah, nice.
Good.
Oh,
Clarity.
strategic housing and economic land availability assessment. There you go.
Did someone write that in the comments?
No, I just Googled it. Cool. Yeah. So do you have financial clarity on your business? We've been working closely with Josh Keegan of Ultimate FD over the last 6 months to pull together a really robust financial cash flow forecast, management accounts, database spreadsheet to manage our cash within XP Property. It's a big business. There's lots of SPVs in amongst our group, and it's getting very, very unruly. So having financial clarity, having management accounts that show you very quickly your month by month performance in the business is crucial. No matter the size of the business, doing this will help your business tenfold in terms of profitability, seeing where the potential cash flow issues are, plugging them, as quickly as you possibly can, instead of burying your head in the sand, thinking that everything's going to be okay, not planning for it, and basically leaving everything to the last minute and leaving it too late to actually do anything about it. So we had a really good management accounts meeting this week, which we do now every month. So it's in our diary. It's a 1-hour call with our finance managers and bookkeepers. We run through all of our management accounts that they've pulled together from the month before. We look at our P&Ls, we look at our balance sheets, and we look at our cash flow forecast, over the next 2 or 3 months. If you're not doing this in your business, I would highly recommend doing so. Do get in touch if you want an introduction to Josh. He's done a fantastic job of it for us. But what I also wanted to touch on here is what we're now trying to do for small business owners with service-based businesses, property development companies, property investment companies, HMO portfolio builders, all those good things, is actually offering business coaching, consulting and mentoring ourselves. We've been building those 5 businesses on the screen for the last 6 years. They're award winning for the most part. Most of them are multi-million pound businesses, generating kind of 6-figure net profits. And we love doing this for other people. We love sort of sharing what we've done to get those businesses to that point. And it's been actually remarkable how many of you guys have taken us up on this. And I feel genuinely humbled by the people that have reached out and booked in consultations with us. We had somebody literally this morning book in for our biggest package, which is sort of 4 hours of a morning with Jack and I really getting to grips with their business operations and setting a strategy for the next 12 months. Don't think we've ever met the guy. He reached out. He's obviously been watching what we've been up to on these types of things or on our social media platforms. That's absolutely fantastic. And we can't wait to work with him. So if you're interested in that type of thing, comment coaching below. We can send you some information about what we have on offer. And we would love to work with you.
Yeah, I'll also add on to that to get our businesses where we are. So Aura has business coaching within it independently. XP Surveys has a business coach in it independently. We have a non-exec that overlooks the group who we meet with monthly. I've had mentors and still have mentors already. It was actually Ben and I that got introduced by our mentors. So all of this knowledge and I suppose diverse understanding of business and property investment or structure is sort of being trickled down to the people that are engaging with us for us to sort of spitball ideas and bring a bit of clarity and structure to their business goals and their business plans. Ben, I actually had someone at the event at Ealing yesterday who said, I want to do the business coaching, but just not yet. So can I lock in the price today? Because I think it's going to keep going up. And I was like,
nice.
Can't guarantee it. But there you go. So if you want to lock in your rate, crack on.
Yeah, good to hear. I like that. Cool. Point number 8. So yeah, Jack's been having lots of fun over the last year in the developer club, and I felt like I was missing out. So the developer club's launched their second group, which I've now joined. There's 6 people in the group currently, but every month there will be 2 or 3 more people joining us. I know that Shiro has got a number of people that are looking to join. I had a really good day Monday. Some of these guys are doing insane things, and it's a real mixed bag. Like there's the tall guy in the middle is doing ultra prime sort of properties in Jersey, and we're talking like £10 million plus properties, and has been doing that for a number of years, doing some incredible finishes, some fantastic interior designs. Another guy who's 24, is doing tens of millions of pounds worth of development up in Liverpool, with sort of student accommodation and PRS type schemes, and it's full of amazingly talented people, hungry to learn, hungry to grow, sharing their expertise, knowledge, and network with everyone else. So I actually really, I'm looking forward to being part of that over the next couple of years.
Very good. 9.98. God, this has been a long call.
Oh, there's a typo. So Aura are recruiting. So if you are an architect, if you are an interior designer, if you are a Part 1 architect, if you're an architectural technologist, and you want to work in the residential architecture space, working with private clients and property developers like us, we are actively recruiting. We are predominantly looking for a Part 2 stroke, recently qualified Part 3 architect to join the business, preferably with Revit skills. So if you know anyone that fits that bill, we're a team of sort of 15 now, working in London and the home counties. They're a great bunch. We do some amazingly interesting projects, both for, like I say, private clients, homeowner extensions, loft conversions, new builds. This is a beautiful picture of a 6,000 square foot grade 2 listed building in Hertfordshire, which is completely being gutted and built out from the inside out. And these are the types of things we're working on. So if that's of interest, or anyone that's looking for a new role, or even they're not looking for a new role, but one might be interested in working for us, do pass on this message. Go onto our website, look at the recruiting page. There's a number of jobs that are available there.
Very good. Airspace planning. Shall I take this one?
Yeah.
So this was a site we got agreed, I believe it was probably about 16 months ago, on a conditional purchase. Where we say conditional, the site was marketed by an estate agent with a positive pre-application to sell the airspace, that's the freehold and basically the roof space upwards of the building, which it had a positive pre-application for 3 flats on top of the existing building, which is 9 long leasehold sold off flats. We got it in contract, so it's a conditional contract. We exchanged. We actually went to full planning to submit planning for 3 apartments like the pre-app, and we hit some backlash with the council. So we now rejigged the scheme for a 2-unit scheme, and that has been extended. The contract's been extended, and we've resubmitted the new scheme. This is in Crystal Palace in South London. And we're pretty excited to get this one approved. It may be one that we might build out or might not, we're not sure. So if this type of scheme interests you, please do reach out. Anything else you want to add, Ben, given that you probably were the one that had more of a handle on design?
Yeah, so it's a really frustrating one, because we felt like the scheme that we presented ticked all of the boxes from the pre-app that was already in our hands when we sort of exchanged. It's never easy. There's always changing of people in the planning authority with different views. This time round, they sort of went back on a lot of the comments that they made in the pre-app, introduced a whole load of new problems for us to kind of oversee. But fundamentally, I think they just wanted it to be pretty much dumbed down, and the massing kind of reduced. So you could skip on to the next page, just to show kind of where it's got to. We tried to make best use of the existing building. Looks awful. It's a 1970s building block. The yellow bricks are horrendous, and it looks very, very top heavy with the current hung tiles on the top floor. So we're looking to reclad it in more of a traditional sort of London red stock brick, using some sort of hit and miss brick detailing, where previously it was wooden paneling or white UPVC, which just doesn't look great, with a very, very kind of minimalistic zinc profiled roof, which is kind of set back on that top level. So we've really tried to just strip it back and go for more of a contemporary aesthetic that blends in with some of the local materiality. The heights are fine, like the principle of development is fine. We've had to do a bit of extra work in the private amenity areas and prove that the existing facilities for bins is adequate for the new 2 units. But they recommended that we go in for a pre-app rather than just throwing this straight back in for a full application. So we'll see what they have to say. It's very, very annoying. But
yeah, I can guarantee it's probably going to be slow and negative. If I would think yes.
James says, could you go over the challenges, hurdles in the airspace scene maybe next week? I mean, yeah, I've given you a couple of those, James, but I could go into greater detail next week. Yeah.
Very good.
Cool.
That is us.
That is us. Lovely stuff. All right. Well, thanks to everyone that's joined. If you do have any comments or questions, do drop them below. We're here every week at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. So look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.